I'm pleased to welcome all of you today to this function for the release of our founder chairman, Life in Pictures. I thank you for consenting to our request and making time to attend this ceremony. I would especially Institute of Professional Studies, VIPS for short, on this occasion, as our lives have revolved around VIPS for almost 2 decades under the chairmanship of Dr. VATS. VIPS was officially founded in 2000 by Dr. VATS to establish, maintain and promote.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You all know him as inspiring, visionary and an intellectual leader. But I have grown up seeing him inspiring not only others but us with his decision making. For me, he is my Baba, my mentor and my pride. And if I can be even a 10% of what he is, I know I will make him proud. Shilpa, please.
That's so warm, Aditi. Thank you so much. Something about the book. From the static environmental portraits to frame filling in your face portraits, from images capturing the wildcat's behavior to those conveying action, Dr. VATS has them all. Wide Angle has primarily showcased the frame-fitting portraits, moving in tighter, cropping out most of the body and focusing on the big cat's face, bringing the reader closer to the feeling that eye-to-eye, soul-to-soul connection with the subject. The experience of involvement is so deep that one can make out the texture of the fur, the length of its whiskers, the depth of its eyes, and the way its mouth turns up at the corners, giving it an enduring expression. Now I invite Mr. SIDHARTH MISHRA, chairperson of our School of Journalism and Mass Communication, to say a few words on how this book is a product of the integration of education with enterprise and share with the audience his discovery of Dr. S.C. VATS, the photographer. Sir, please.
Honorable Minister, Dr. VATS, Dr. Agarwal, ladies and gentlemen, it was sometime in the month of March that I happened to meet Dr. VATS. We have known each other for the last 20 years. He has been one of the few admirers that amongst politicians whom I have as admirer for my writings. Generally, I find myself on the wrong side. I met him discussing a book which I had planned, which is about to come out on the politicians of Delhi. And in course of discussion, I mentioned to him that I feel very frustrated in modern time journalism. And first with the news, breaking news, these kind of things are somehow, kind of upset my cycle as a journalist. I want to have a change. And a great, I must say, the recruitment agency that Dr. VATS mind and body runs, he immediately gave me the offer that you have to be here in this institute and we'll give you a good placement. And I said, I've never thought about it. He said, you have 2 hours to decide and then you can leave this campus on your volition, but you will leave with my permission. And I had no option but to accede to his request, to his desire. When I joined the institute, the vacations, the term had ended, the examinations were on, the vacations was to start, and I really did not know what to do from 11 to 5. The teachers come there at 8:30. I said, I've been a journalist all my life, I can't reach office before 11 in the morning. So he permitted me that convenience that you can come at 11. I really did not know what to do for next, I went and told him, I do not know what to do. And then for the discussion, there is a big portrait in his office of Damodar peaks, of sunrise and sunset pictures. I said, these are great pictures. And I said that I asked him, as a reporter was asked somebody whom he has known as a politician all his life, that are these your pictures really? And he said, these are not only these are my pictures, but they are a drawer full of pictures. And then he shared these pictures with me. And I knew that I had a gold mine with me. And then I went back to the journalism school. I said, I want 3 students for this summer internship project with me. And these 3 students were not very, very convinced about what I was going to do. And the first thing they asked me, the certificate that you would give me, will be admissible in the school or not for internship program. So that's how the education system in this country is everything is about certificates, you know. I said certificate you would get, and I would ensure that your school also accepts it, but at the end of the day you will feel very proud of the product that will come out. And for 3 months in that summer, we worked very closely, we worked very hard. It was a great learning process for me. And what a marvelous job they did. Going through 1,000 odd pictures, sorting out pictures, and cataloging them, and then finally deciding on what to take and what not to take. You know, in journalism, news management is a big, huge issue. In newsroom, what news to carry, what news not to carry. And then you had a plethora of 1,000 pictures before you, clicked by the chairman of the institute, who was to decide what pictures to go and what pictures not to go. So that was a great decision, big decision we had to take. And then a narrative to go with the. And the best part of the whole exercise was when they were to, I prepared them very hard for the interview which they were to hold for Dr. VATS. And a student of first year interviewing the chairman of the institute. You know, and it ended on a one-way communication. And they forgot about the questions. They kept listening to the stories which he had to tell them, like a grandfather would tell a grandchild. And it ended up as a marvelous copy, as we say in journalism. And this all has come together. It's an unusual book. The purists may not, approve of this book. It has great pictures and it has great stories for you to introduce you to what wildlife in this country is. And I'm very proud of my student, and I have done several books, and I can say I'm equally proud of this book also. And I'm so grateful to the Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies for having taken me on board and giving me the opportunity to do things which I want to do. Thank you so much.
Now I invite Dr. VATS for author's musings.
Good evening, friends. Thanks very much for coming here. I'm overwhelmed with the presence of our honorable chief guest and my leader, whom I say is a very kind, very generous, very helpful person who has always kept his head and pen high. And when I say he has kept his head and pen high, he has always scripted the economy of this country afresh. And I think it will go a long way in the history of this nation. When the posterities will look back, they'll say how many reforms in such a short period of 4 years. He has almost committed himself to his work, and the manner in which he has a grasp of everything and the problems that people are afflicting from, which are afflicting people, that he just touches each and every aspect of human life. I have seen him as a barrister practicing, and Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies owes his indebtedness to him for the very fact that he used to spare time from his Supreme Court practice, used to come down to the High Court for us. This we can never repay. The manner in which he used to stand, perseverance is required, patience required, and his sharpness on the manner in which he used to grasp the facts in very short period. The lawyer will come, brief him for a short while, he'll scribble a few notes, just scribble a few notes. We thought he isn't really given adequate time, but in that much of little time, he had this sharp intellect to grasp everything, and the manner he argued for half an hour in the High Court, I was completely amazed and taken aback, and I said, here comes my leader, and my conscience said, he is the one who can lead India. And today's, whatever economic reforms are saying, the future will, critics are everywhere, but I'm sure his name will go down in the annals of economic history of India, and nobody can say that the amount of work that he does at the cost of his health it will not go waste, it will go a long way in strengthening India's economy and in giving world a world leader. He is a statesman, he is not a small politician. I am proud to accept him as my leader. He always keeps, as I said in the beginning, he keeps his head high and pen high. Thank you very much, sir. I am really obliged, and on behalf of all of you, I express my deep sense of gratitude. Thanks, Siddharth, for having to give words to my pictures, because when I was going to Badagod, I could remember who there was a Jannu, Mahal, and the name of the elephant was Benhani, and there was another Sundargaj, and Ramgram was the Mahal. Very interesting stories. 2 kgs of roti will be given to the elephant in the morning. In the wee hours in the morning, I used to get up early so as to be ready by 6 o'clock, and before the sun rises, we used to set out on our journey and to see that where to spot and where to go. Difficult times, and the elephant used to clear our way, and the Mahavat also and the forest guard also used to do a little bit of job, but a lot of stretches you end up with during the day, and you wait and have patience with a bated breath. You wait and you see what moment you are waiting for, because in the flash of moment the whole scenario changes, and if you are not able to capture those moments, then perhaps this book would not have been as interesting, as absorbing as it has become now. It has come up very well. It will be in your hands. Now, what I took out from nature, I want to give it back to the nature. And whatever sale proceeds are there out of this book will be dedicated to wildlife conservation, and it is already on Amazon. So whatever sale proceeds are there out of this book will be going back to Tiger Conservation Fund. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
We all can see the grace right here, but then may I request the guests on the dais to please unveil the magnanimous pictures waiting to roll. Thank you so much. Now I invite those 3 students who have contributed towards the intellectual and creative publication of this book. I would humbly request our chief guest, ARUN JAITLEY ji, to please present a copy to each one of them. Navya. Simran. Simran. I think they deserve a huge round of applause, because degrees everybody receives, but such experiences name it, please. Thank you so much, sir. We are honored. To celebrate the 125th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's speech in Chicago, VIPS has come out with a calendar reflecting the various facets of Swamiji's life. may I request once again Shri Arun Jaitley ji to please unveil the calendar celebrating life and times of Swamiji.
फोटोग्राफर थोड़ा साइड में जा पीछे भी लव करें.
The calendar has some of the rare pictures of Swamiji. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to bother you once again to address the gathering, please, sir.
Dr. S.C. VATS, Shri SIDHARTH, MISHRA, Shri ARUN, family members of Dr. VATS, members of the Vivekananda Institute of Professional Studies Fraternity, and friends. Let me at the very outset compliment Dr. VATS for having brought out this publication, which is a reflection of his own preference for wildlife, almost a passion for it. And he's been working on this for a reasonably long time. There are many facets of his personality. I've had the privilege of knowing him for a very long time. He was a medical professional. Studied in one of the best institutions for his medicine in Delhi, the MAHAL Medical College. Practiced medicine. There are not too many people in that generation in India who used to switch careers. These days, internationally, a lot of people do. He switched his career, got into public life. And from public life, somewhere he picked up this passion of setting up and establishing an educational institution. At that time, he was more closely in contact with me, because for his activities in public life, he was being penalized with not being offered his allotment of land. He had to fight all the way. And I was not very sure as to what kind of institution will develop, because that was an era where private educational institutions were still struggling to establish their credibility. But in a very short time, he did establish an institution which had a large amount of professional excellence and a preference. In that field also, I have a lurking suspicion from my conversations with him that his expansionist ideas are not, or desires are not over. He now wants to get into neighboring states and continue this experience of good educational institutions in those states, and which is a remarkable thing, because we have a very large amount of population and a very large aspirational class, so more and more people want to get into good institutions so that they can be a better human resource themselves. And while doing all this, he kept his passion for wildlife alive. So these days, multitasking is one feature of life where you continue to spend your time in doing more than one thing at the same time. In the good old days, it used to be called a diversion, which will take away your focus. But that's today considered a virtue. But the other feature is that life is limited in terms of years. And are you going to be unifocused and only know about your branch? If you go to SIDHARTH Mishra's fraternity, and ask them what is happening in Parliament, he'll say, no, I am on the crime beat these days. So they only get focused on their own subject. And one of the remarkable things which is now emerging amongst individuals that you may achieve excellence in one field, but your personal bandwidth has to be reasonably wide. And therefore, having a fair amount of specialization or at least an acquaintance, association, knowledge, and some understanding of multiple subjects is extremely necessary. So from medicine to education to politics to wildlife. And a short life only becomes more meaningful and more fruitful if through this multitasking you become multifaceted. Otherwise, you will only remain a crime reporter and know how to be and not know about other things. In fact, this is one of the gaps which is developing in India. With the entire gambit of information and knowledge now available for almost no cost in the various avenues that technology has provided us, you can't afford to say, I don't know this subject. Because when you are traveling or you are relaxing at home, you can actually continuously, without any cost, keep acquiring information and knowledge about what's happening in the world. And therefore, I am quite delighted at the fact that Dr. VATS did not turn out to be the usual boring Indian politician who only knew limited amount on his own focus area. Because if you did that, then you run into a serious trouble. And the serious trouble is that there are many people when you must have seen it particularly in the electronic media, when they are asked a question, irrespective of the question, their answer is always the same. Because that's the focus area they know about, and in a roundabout manner they come to the same subject. About his passion for wildlife, this necessary involves an attitude of mind. Because if you have a passion for wildlife or if you have a passion for tourism, then you are necessarily getting away from the activities of the city which keep you occupied the whole day. You are getting away from the tension of the day-to-day life. You are unwinding yourself. You are seeing various parts of the world. And in the world, you are seeing the most beautiful part of the world. Because these are areas which nature has gifted to us. And as we expanded in terms of societies across the world, you then had a tendency to eat into what the nature had given. The place where we are speaking now must have been a part of the Raisina hill, which was a part of the Raisina village. You must have had, fortunately, the British architects who designed this part of the city still get the lung space and the greens alive. But every time we do the development, we eat into some part of what nature has given. So that environment and ecology on one hand and the economy and development on the other continue to exist simultaneously. But then we ended up creating an environment where it led to a destruction of certain areas also. This is one of the most gifted things India has. And if you actually look at the map of India, you are a country with an incredible natural resource. We are the largest peninsula, so we have the largest sea line, coastline in the world. We have a very large number of forests with multiple wildlife in it. We have innumerable places of religious and cultural tourism. From the hills to various other destinations, the urban metropolitan cities. There is everything that we possess, but because conventionally our developmental processes were slow, we have never been able to exploit it to this extent. Exploit it in terms of the world coming to us and visiting all these places. But as we hopefully grow, I think the capacity of the society to spend on itself and attract the focus of the world to these areas will also take place. But having a passion for photography and then using your passion in order to publicize the rich heritage in terms of wildlife is an exercise that he has undertaken. I am quite certain it must have been every time he goes to the wildlife areas, the forest areas, and he tells me that he has almost visited every forest that conceivably the world has heard of. That itself becomes a very exciting experience. And in these experiences, you always not only focus on the cliff, but you also focus on yourself, detach yourself from the song and dance of normal life, and think for yourself about yourself, your family, your educational institutions, the society, the city. And I'm sure this must have been a great, enjoyable experience. For many of us, a very envious one that you went through. But I'm quite sure you have many, many years and decades ahead of you to at least transgress into some other activities also. And that is what is going to make your life more fulfilled and more fruitful. All the very best, Dr. VATS, with the hope that you live a very healthy, long life. And what we have seen of you is still not the best. So that better days come ahead of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. As always, you're blessed with the skill to capture the audience. Thank you very much. Before I invite our Vice Chairman to present a vote of thanks, two gentle informations. Please, one which has already been shared with you, that all the proceeds from the sale of this book to be released today will go towards the cause of wildlife conservation, and so I urge everyone to buy at least one copy each and contribute to furthering of this noble goal. And secondly, a very, very humble request, kindly, neither are you permitted to, I'm sorry to use this word, but please, to pose for either photographs or shake hands with our Honorable Chief Guest, and also kindly remain humbly seated till the time our Chief Guest departs the premises, please. Sir. Sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know time is of essence today, and having spent so much of time, I think we need to thank our, and words often fall short in terms of, because once you try to, thank Arun sir for each time when he has come and blessed, in terms of his coming to the convocation at VATS by blessing law students. Also in terms of, sparing time. I know you have many books on wildlife which are there, but at the same time, the kind of encouragement that we have got today is something that is remarkable and something which will go a long way in terms of, encouraging us. Sir, I think it is my duty on behalf of the Board of Management to thank you on behalf of Chairman Sir, other members of the board who are present here, Krishanji, Ajayji, Niji, Manojji, and others. Other esteemed distinguished guests who are present here. I know a lot of you are family and almost friends to us, and this is where we extend our deep-felt gratitude for having to make this event a success. We thank you from the bottom of our heart, and we thank Sir for not just sparing his time, but then gracing this occasion by his benign presence, and we are thankful to each one of you for having made it today. May I request each one of you to please join us for Haiti and that will be the end of the session. Thank you so much.
Just not about tigers, it's about Indian mythology, Indian spirituality, when Mother Goddess is astride of a tiger. You see what a beautiful spectacle it is to see the Mother Goddess astride on a tiger. So the tiger is a symbol of strength. That come from Mother Goddess, that come from tiger. So tiger symbolizes strength. Tiger also symbolizes our country's civilization. Tiger conservation should be a priority for the nation. And I think the nature, we have to keep a balance. What we take out from nature, we should also give it back. With that sort of duty, we have decided to, whatever the safe procedures there, conservation of nature, so we are compatible with nature.
You have traveled many places, to click these. For these clicking pictures of animals, you have to set your camera at right angle and right position. Do you feel any difficulty while capturing these wild animals? Any incident that you would like to share with us?
They need to be very friendly, sensitivities at work towards the animals. You may not disturb animal life, but you are in an animal habitat. You are in their habitat. They are protected there. You need to be on the safer side. Without going to hurt the sensitivity of the animal. You don't have to disturb their natural habitat. What are pictures you can take? You take as movies, things of people. You don't need to threaten the you don't let the animal not be insecure by the business.
And your book launch is also seen as anniversary 25th anniversary of Vivekanand speech.
This is the 125th anniversary, commemorate that. It is lecture in the World Parliament. So there are two occasions that we want everything done. It's not just massive, we also need a balance with the nature and just take this planet out.
And any message you would like to say? You have done these photographs.
This planet is threatened. We all need to oversee this
Thank you so much.
कितना चैलेंजिंग था, किस प्लस आपके आइडियाज आए कि ये करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वाइल्ड लाइफ फोटोग्राफी अपने आप में चैलेंज है।
अरे इसको बंद कर लाइट अभी। अरे भैया तो सामने खड़ा पड़ गया, लाइट बंद कर। ब्लू आ गया। अरे लाइट बंद कर ना।
अभिप्राय और उसका जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है वो देश का बिल्कुल नहीं रखा है। ये है जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है वो ये रखा है हम लोग वाइल्ड एनिमल्स के प्रति लोगों को सेंसिटाइज करें।
सर जिस तरह से रणथंभौर हुआ, बांधवगढ़ हुआ, गिरी में आपने फोटोग्राफी की, हाँ, इस तरह से वहाँ खास ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं जो हमारा वाइल्ड लाइफ है वो प्रभावित हो रहा है?
बहुत ज़बरदस्त स्टफ हो रहा है। हमने वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज को जरूर बना दिया है, इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ बना दिया है। तो इतना इंक्रीजन महसूस करते हैं, इतना केस महसूस करते हैं। 150 5 जोन है जैसे 5 में आप 150 फीट लेते हो तो जो उनकी अपनी लाइफ है एनिमल लाइफ वो तो इकोसिस्टम
सर आपने ये सवाल पूछा कि हाल ही में जो डायनासोर के कौन सी अभी हो रही है तो जब वाइल्ड लाइफ कंजर्वेशन की बात होती है तो हाउ डू यू सी दैट आपको क्या लगता है कि आप बड़े कदम उठाने चाहिए सरकार
पर्यावरणवादी
लेकिन खुफिया सरकार से
मैं पर्यावरणवादी व्यक्ति हूँ मैं चाहता हूँ कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एलोकेशन टाइगर कंजर्वेशन के लिए और फॉरेस्ट रिजर्व्स को बचाने के लिए हमारे अपने अस्तित्व के लिए हमारे जीवन के लिए जरूरी है हायर प्लान एलोकेशन चाहिए बड़े बड़े
ये वाइड एंगल वाइड
giving exposure to the world life, sensitize vast magnitude of the world, so that each one of us is threatening by human habitat is threatening existence by उनका अस्तित्व खतरे में बढ़ गया है इन दिनों डेजर्ट्स होती एक सेक्टर में जा रही है खाना चले जाइए खाना में एक 4 सेक्टर है 4 सेक्टर में सोचो जीत कर रही है ये जो है इसको मैनेज करना आसान काम नहीं है और वहाँ पर रुकने ना जाए रिस्पेक्ट